I've exported all of the files from Lightroom into a specific folder, and now I am opening up Photoshop, and so we'll click on open, and now I will find the files. You'll locate your folder, so here Spencer 8 days and then Bess. Click on the first file, and then I go up here and I change it to icons, so now that I can see all of the images. This way I can select them in sets, so I will do this set first and then click open. They're all JPEG files, so now that they are perfectly ready for you to edit. And then I go down to the actions, and this is the one that you've got, and in there it's got so many actions. You can just play with them. You know, when I showed you, I used another action. It was called Totally Rad, and that smoothed out the forehead. There will be something like that in the actions that you've got. I just haven't found it yet. I haven't looked for it. Okay, so I am going to play this one here, and then I am going to go down and do soft skin at, so I select the brush, it's 100% opacity, and then I'm just going to go over the baby like this. Another one that I use a lot is reduce the reds, so I'd bring the opacity down on this. This one doesn't actually need it actually. I'm just going to bring it up a bit. You often get red here, so now it turns it to a nice brown, and then under the chin, across the eyes, across the forehead, and I leave the cheeks. And then for cheeks and lips, if you want to, you can select that one, bring the opacity down on this, and you can paint in some nice pink cheeks. That one's a little bit strong, so bring it down here, and then just take it across the lips there. And another one which I really like is the warm skin tone, and with this you can just run it over, and you can change the opacity, so this is 100%, which is really quite nice. So I'd probably select it about 68% and run it over like this. And then I wouldn't do anything else there. Then you would find the equivalent of this one. Which I just run over here and here and here. And that would be it. Then what I would do is I would select the hand like this, so I would just show you again. It's the quick selection tool, and I would select here. You don't need to know this. I mean, to be honest, you could actually, the photos that you've edited in Lightroom are good enough for you to just send to your client. They're perfectly fine. So, but obviously I do a little bit extra. I would create a new layer, and then I would select a nice colour like here. I'd use the fill tool. Don't worry too much about this. I would multiply. This is just going to add some colour to his fingers. And now I'd play with the opacity. There you go. And I would also perhaps make it a little bit more yellow. Okay. And then I would flatten. I would then go to levels, which is Command L, and now brings up the histogram. And you can see I can brighten it by that much. So if you go beyond that point, you can see it's blowing out the highlights here. So it's great to use this histogram like this. And then what I would do is I would duplicate the layer, which is this one here. So I'll have two layers exactly the same, and then I will go up to filter and liquify, and I would just even out this so it's a little bit more symmetrical. I would take a bit longer to do this, but it's just to give you an idea, to make it nice and round. Bring it over a little bit like this. I would bring the hat in a bit. You have to watch this though. You have to, oops. Command Z takes it back to where you were before. And then I would just take it in just a little bit, so the hat fits nice and snug. You can even add a little smile, which is the face tool here, and then just bring it up like this, and then click OK. And then when you crop, this is actually quite important, you have to look, this is the crop tool, and you want to do front image, and that will mean that however much you crop, it will always stay the same size that you imported it. So like this, I would probably bring it down like this, and then have this content aware tick box done. So hopefully it will do a really good job, and it will just fill in this detail here. Click enter. Wait for it to do its magic. Hopefully it is creating magic. Alright, that's not too bad. I would flatten, then I'd give the spot healing tool a go. That's fine. And then I would do a finishing overlay. So for me it's my ombre, which is my go-to action, but you'll find your own ones that you can use. And that adds a nice little matte effect, and then I can change the opacity to about there, which I quite like. And then I'd flatten the image, and then I would do File, Save. Make sure the quality is 12 and this is at maximum, and then click OK, and then you're done. And then if you go back into your files, Spencer, here, and we'll find the one that I edited. There it is. And I can change it to, oops, icons, and now I can see them. And then you'll just work through all of your files, and then you'd select the next 5, which will be these ones, and then this one, and then you select all the whites and then edit them that way. Once you've edited them all, I would go back into Lightroom. It's probably, oh yeah, okay. Then what would I think I explained this to you before. Sorry, I hope I'm not confusing you by rushing through all this. You'd find your files again, which for me is here, and this is the one I edited, but you would select all of your edited files and then drag them over. So you can delete all of the ones that you've edited on Lightroom. You don't need them in there anymore. And then I would drag it over, import, and then I would change it over to black and white. So I would click develop, and I actually have a Lightroom action which I use, which is here. I mean, there's lots of ones here, and you can see I can brighten it a little bit here. And I go down to, I remove the texture because I don't like that part of the action. So I just take that down to 0. And then I go down to noise reduction. So you can see it makes the skin lovely and smooth. That's it. And then you click on library, you'd have all of your files. Then you would Command A, select them all, you'd export them again, and then you would go down to custom settings. I change it now, take away the little underscore, and I put black and white, done, and then I export them out, so the file size is the same, everything is the same. You don't have to do black and whites, it's just something that I do. You know, perhaps keep it nice and simple and don't do black and whites. You know, you're learning lots right now, so just keep it simple. And then I would, I then use Bridge. So I don't know if you've used that yet. So, I haven't got Bridge open for some reason. I don't know why. It's normally automatically open. I would locate the files again. Find Spencer. Oh, where's he gone? Spencer. Is it that one? And you'll see now that I've got the colour version and the black and white. And then what I would do is I select all of my edited images, the colour and the black and white. So, but in this instance, I've edited these two. And then I would do Tools, Battery Name, and then Spencer. The surname, I can't remember what it was, so blah blah blah, whatever the surname was, and then underscore. You want it to start from the number 1, so you'll be able to see here what the current name is and what you're changing it to. So new file name is Spencer. I've actually spelled that. And then you'll rename. And there you go. So now you've got your color images, you've got your black and white images if you want. You can see them in Bridge. You've labeled them correctly. They've all got a file sequence number, and you'll be able to locate them easily because you've got the child's name. I actually do put the days on there as well. Sorry. So I would put Spencer, surname, 8 days. Start from number 1 and rename. There we go. I hope that helps.